I'm getting excited now. I'm up to what I think will be the last, if I can not say a lot myself, the last of the three-part series on APTERA's first third wheel podcast. Judging by the comments in my first two videos, I would say these guys are getting caught out.
Is the VCU's upgradable over OTA?
Yes, it will be.
Wow, that's going to be cool. Could add new drive modes or features over time.
Yeah, we're very excited for that capability. Yeah.
Man, that's really cool. What would you say? It's a little hard question.
What would you say you do here?
Yeah, what do you do? What do you do? I'm just kidding.
I'm a people person.
What would you say to the community? I think some people feel, left in the dark, like they didn't know about this change. They always wanted an all-wheel drive APTERA. What would you say to those people? I understand their position, but I also understand the position we're in and that we're doing the best thing for APTERA. How would you respond to that?
We've got some of the smartest, most intelligent community members of any car company. I mean,
I almost fell off my chair when I heard this one. I mean, you can sell snake oil, but there are limits, and this guy is over the top. APTERA fanboys are some of the dumbest people in the world, and Steve Fambro is either lying or deluded.
Some of these folks have worked on pilot projects for NASA. They're rocket scientists, literally other engineers. They are incredibly intelligent and mindful of all the technical details of the vehicle, which is why they chose APTERA. And I understand that the promise of, or the intrigue of in-wheel motors and all-wheel drive, was a big part of that. And we want people to know that we have made decisions on the design of the vehicle that we believe are going to be best for the vehicle and best for the shareholders, best for everybody in terms of us being able to launch, being able to have something that's reliable and well-known, and leaving the door open still for our in-wheel concepts. We're very far down the runway with that whole technology, but we wanted to reduce the risk and simplify the number of moving parts for launch. And so I think what we're saying is let's launch with something that's reliable and well-known, and then let's keep the door open for our in-wheel motor use and see where the best fit is. And I think the best fit for us is probably going to be to achieve all-wheel drive with in-wheel in the back and the e-axle unit up front.
Right.
So what he's told all you intelligent fanboys is suck it up. We'll tell you what we're going to do, and you just take it on the chin. If you can't see that, then don't go thinking you're intelligent.
But I want those customers to know that, look, we've made these decisions really with their best interests at heart, making sure that we can deliver them a reliable product, an affordable product, and something that's just going to have the least amount of risk with still extraordinary performance. I guarantee you this vehicle is going to be fast enough to lose your license and end up in jail.
That's really snake oil. You can get a Kia Picanto, and it is fast enough for you to lose your license and wind up in jail. Saying that APTERA can do that for you is meaningless.
I mean, if you're so inclined.
Please don't do that.
It's going to be fast enough to need traction control to keep from cooking the tires. Front-wheel drive cars, of course, with the right tires can go just about anywhere, snow and everything else. All-wheel drive is just icing on the cake. Of course, the more wheels you control, the more control you have for the vehicle. So I think that is our end goal for performance. But for the maximum in efficiency and minimize risk and cost and all those things, I think we decided to move to this inboard motor for those reasons. And I hope they understand, because we do value them and their opinions very much. They've helped us guide the product so far. And we hear them. We just want the community to know that we made those decisions with their best interests in mind.
Absolutely. What everyone wants more than anything on planet Earth is to get their APTERA,
Just get it launched, right?
Let's get this thing out there, I think that's something the whole world can rally behind. Once APTERA are on the road, it'll open up a lot of doors for us.
My Greek friend Theo, hi Theo, he corrected me and said it's APTEROI.
APTEROI, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to update that everywhere.
Yes.
Once again, another diversion.
Well, that's cool. Richard, what are you excited about in the next few months, or let's say the rest of this year? I mean,
there's just so many exciting things that we're working on. It's really bringing a lot of the pieces together and verifying them across their interfaces. So we've got all these components coming in for the PI builds, and being able to not only verify their functionality within that boundary, but also their functionality across the boundary between the other components of the system, and prove it all out on the actual vehicle. So I'm super excited to get in the vehicle. I remember stepping into the first APTERA the first time around, and it just felt magical. So being able to do that again, introducing a new drive system into that, and watching that new design come to life.
Yeah,
I think that's what's most exciting to me.
That's cool. Anecdote, when I first met you, we went out in Gamma, and you ripped that thing more than I've ever seen it ripped ever.
Really?
I was in the passenger seat.
You don't have to tell Steve.
Somebody reported that to me.
But you were saying how it was just so much better
It was great.
that you even remembered
Yeah.
APTERA being. So I think that's the continuous cool thing about APTERA is every prototype or every PI vehicle that we're going to show to the world will just be continuously better. It's not like traditional concept cars where it looks awesome and then you get it and it's terrible. It's like the opposite. It's it really lives up to what it was designed to be from the beginning.
Well, I mean, when we restarted, if you will, it was with a clean sheet of paper. But of course, we were able to stand on the shoulders of people like Richard and others who.
Bruce Nelson and all of these other supposedly intelligent people, if they're not lying about their accomplishments, have a listen to that. He said when they rebooted APTERA, this is the CEO. Now, I've been taking for years clowns that have been saying these are not the same. I'm not allowed to say that APTERA went bankrupt. Well, Steve Fambro has just admitted that they are the same. It's a second iteration, just like I've been saying all along.
Built the first one, even after Chris and I left. So, it all comes around, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk more about you driving the vehicle very aggressively. One of the things I'm excited about, we've been, blessed and plagued by the low-cost small battery, the test battery that we put in every vehicle.
Yeah.
When we had basically no budget, that let us build a battery that we could put in the vehicle and drive around. And all the alphas, beta, gamma, they all have the same battery that we built. It's just a very small 10 kilowatt hour pack.
Get a load of that. We've been saying all along, and I have, long before the cretin even discovered it when he first visited Carlsbad, been saying all along that there's a little, probably a forklift truck battery from Flux Power. And here he is saying it's 10 kilowatt hours in all of their prototypes. I think this is the first time you've heard it. Close to 4 years later, you finally hear that it's got a 10 kilowatt hour battery in it. So how transparent have they been? They've been extolling the virtues of the smallest distance goes 250 miles. A 10 kilowatt hour battery would barely go 100 miles. But from what I've been seeing, they don't like to go any more than about 10 miles.
That's been abused horrifically, doing, I don't even want to say the level of C discharges, but I think the new pack, the production intent module and BMS, even though it's a prototype frame, that pack is going to be what's going into PI2. And so I'm looking forward to getting all the external skins on it and taking it on a long trip.
Yeah.
It's something that we can't do with the 10 kilowatt hour packs. So
yeah, are we going to drive that thing from empty to full?
Yes.
Or full to empty?
Full to empty. Well, empty to full if
Depends on
it's
the
slow
sun.
enough. Yeah.
Oh, slow. Man, that's going to be really exciting. I mean, I think that's what everyone's most excited about is, we're doing range testing, like the solar output, like all this is going to be validated in the real world.
Yes.
And it's going to be really exciting for people to see.
Moving from the bench and simulations and unit tests to complete vehicle tests.
Yeah.
And demonstrations of those claims. So that's what we're excited about.
And that's great. Well, I think, the most important thing is efficiency to market. We all want our APTERA as soon as possible. And it's exciting to be at a company where think the leaders always make the right decision to get this vehicle into production as soon as possible. So
Well, I hope we make the right.
that.
I mean, we made some mistakes. Of course, everybody does, and I've made my fair share. But on this, I think it's the best decision for the company and for the product because we reduce complexity. Just like it wasn't my idea. I think it was Akos and Chris who had the idea of limiting or removing, rather, all of the options for the launch vehicle in just one configuration, right? And
If my memory serves me correctly, it was Sandy Munro who suggested that they limit what they bring out first to a single model. I get a bit worried when the CEO doesn't seem to know who's responsible for what ideas.
so we've read horror stories about other EV startups who were managing containers of different trim color seats and dashes and things like that. And we just didn't want to spend the budget on that or manage that complexity. So by just having one configuration, that radically simplifies as a launch. And I think this change also, although it created a lot of upfront design work in the frame, it does simplify the overall execution, minimize the risk. So I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, I agree. Any closing thoughts, Richard? This is your first time on camera, people seeing you for the first time.
I'm just so excited to be here. The evolution of the product since I left the first time is remarkable. And I'm particularly excited about the development of the mature automotive solar panels that are part of this vehicle now. I just think that's such a neat inclusion in the product. And it looks beautiful. The design is, I think, even better than the first time around, and I was floored the first time around. So, yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. Excited to be working with Steve again, and we have a really terrific team. Everybody's pushing to get your APTERAs as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I'm excited to be working with you again, Richard, and I'm also looking forward to not having to fight my wife and daughter over the two chargers in our house. We have 3 EVs and 2 chargers, so it's always musical chargers. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about not having to do that. So.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm just excited to get my solar future.
That's right.
Cool. Well, that was the Third Wheel Podcast. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe to the APTERA YouTube channel, and if you guys really like it, we'll do more. If you hate it,
So after the whole 30 minutes, we had about as much information on the new motor as the cretin gave by showing the EMR3 and EMR4's specifications that he pulled up when he discovered that this new Vitesco motor was going to replace the in-hub motors. 30 minutes to give us 2 minutes worth of information, and we're none the wiser. I'm sure not only was the cretin saying that he'd be looking forward to finding out in this podcast a lot more about the motor, but Steve himself in the July update was saying, I won't say much now because more will be revealed in the podcast. I believe they have failed miserably. I could give them a dislike or say why I didn't like it, but they have me blocked. They blocked me a couple of years ago. They have never addressed any of my issues. They turn a blind eye deliberately from me because while they think their fanboys are highly intelligent, they haven't got the intelligence to refute most of my questions or claims. Sometimes I make claims. They can't answer questions. They've refused to. They never do. They block me and they can't refute the claims that I have. They are snake oil salesmen and they were squirming the whole 30 minutes.
hated it, we won't. So hopefully you love it. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Bye for now. Stay safe. That's all from me.